Said it's like cranes in the sky. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Wish I could feel those memories. My water is all the way over there. Give me 1 second because I'm gonna need it. Give me 1 second, bitch. Oh my gosh. Hi, y'all. What's up? Who in here? Please let me see who's up. Said it's like, oh, here we go. Crazy. That's me. Who is up in here? I hope my streaming is going right. Welcome to a live dissection. I am Latasha. I am your host for this evening. I am live every Monday, 6 p.m. EST to dissect a TV show or a film that we love and enjoy. And sometimes it's a hit or miss. Okay, but we are here, and every Thursday you guys can join me for a bite size, a discount dissection, the series called Piece of Script. Last week for Piece of Script, I took a deep dive into the opening scene of Inglourious Basterds by Quentin Tarantino because it's a really long scene and it's full of so much. It has so much depth and so much layers. So that one was a really juicy one. And I like things that I can sink my teeth into. So every Monday night, I'm going live with this show, the live dissection, and on Thursdays, Piece of Script. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel to make sure you do not miss a video. And I love when you come here live. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love when you join me live. It helps so much. Okay, now the sun is changing. I'm trying to use a bit of what we got. It's gonna change and go away soon. I will alter as it shifts. But right now I'm in front of my windowsill. I hope it's okay. I hope it's okay. And I know it looks a little weird right now. Please follow me on social media if you're not doing so already. I am JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. Let me see who we got in here. You binged the whole thing. So Khaled, shout out to you, patron, wonderful supporter. Khaled, I got to talk to live on Patreon yesterday because he is a VIP patron. When you are a VIP patron, you get to join me on video to chat live with me, and we stream to everyone else. So you really like this series and you binged the whole thing. Now, I thought it was releasing episodically. Am I incorrect with that? I thought it was only 2 episodes out so far. Either way, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I have my issues with it. I have my issues with it, which we'll discuss tonight. That's more so of a storytelling standpoint, a TV watching standpoint, but we'll definitely stop in and talk about those kind of things. Hello, Arvet, welcome. Hi, Datkez, Yam Kella, hello. Oh, you caught up. Okay, so there are only 2 episodes out. It is releasing episodically. Got it. Are you guys watching this besides Khaled? I would love to know if you guys are watching this. It feels weird. I'm trying to like beat the shadows. It feels weird. But I'll definitely dive in. If you're not a patron, I will be updating the merch on patreon.com/JustLatasha. I do go live with exclusive videos twice a month. Yesterday I was on with my VIP patrons and my other patrons. We dissected I Care a Lot on Netflix. We tore it up. And by tore it up, I'm not meaning like some African-American vernacular English, like, damn, you tore it up. I'm talking about we dragged it, we tore it up. We just collectively decided that we don't stand white feminists who are actually oppressors and lie to you about it. Like, it was just that whole kind of thing. Like, she was supposed to be like this cool anti-hero / likable villain, and we just didn't like her. So we just went ahead on Patreon and we dissected that. Also, shout out to Stephanie Williams. She is the official comic writer of Marvel. Marvel has signed and hired and cut her the massive checks to reimagine the story of Monica Rambeau, the Black superhero we all met and fell in love with in WandaVision. So they hired a young Black woman writer to reimagine the story of Monica Rambeau under the umbrella of Marvel. We got to interview her live yesterday on Patreon. So we do really, really, really cool things over there, okay? Y'all don't want to miss it. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Thank you for being here. Yam Keller says Justice Smith is amazing, but I also had some issues. I haven't watched it yet. Don't mind spoilers for episode 1 because we is gonna spoil. We're gonna go through the whole episode, which I actually don't have a lot to talk about. It's only a half hour. But the conversation I want to have will be really rich and in depth. So we're gonna spend time in certain places. Dak Cass says I saw some clips, but I don't know if I like it like that. Just kind of want to get the vibe from it. HBO is the only channel to get me to watch a show about high schoolers. I swear to God. So let's get started and let's start right there. Okay, now the sun is getting weird. Let me see if I could, no, it's still gonna be weird. The sun's gonna be weird, sorry y'all. Let's get started on that note, okay? I look like Batman, okay. So yes, this is another HBO teen drama, joining Euphoria teen drama. We Are Who We Are, which that show was weird as fuck. Like that show was weird as fuck. There was like no story, but I think the story was so subtle that you had to like spend time with it to really dig and find it. And I didn't have the energy. And as well as Betty, you guys remember the skating show about all the little cute girls around LES, Lower East Side, New York City, starting like a girl gang skate group, very diverse, very cute, very gay. We love to see it. But the story itself, and it's hard to work with new actors. They wanted to hire actual teens. And so it got a little lost in the sauce for me. It actually picks up halfway through the season and gets good at the end, Betty. So that was kind of cool. But that's exactly what this is. Another teen, queer, diverse drama that HBO is giving us. Let me give you guys a little backstory because one of y'all said it already in the chat. This is a Lena Dunham production. And I dragged that lady back in my heyday on YouTube, okay? This show was created by a 19-year-old young woman by the name of Zelda Barnz, who says this show is about a group of queer kids finding each other in their conservative community and searching for connectedness within that community. And this show was organic because it came from discussions she's had with her own 2 dads, Ben and Daniel Barnz. She had a conversation with them after coming out to her 2 dads about being bisexual, and that grew into more conversations about sexuality, race, gender. And so her 2 dads said, we should actually just make a TV show. Huh? Like, how? What? Okay, come on, nepotism, give it to me. Wow. Okay, so you're 19, you're coming out. Actually, she came out at 15. But they go into development, and now she's a 19-year-old HBO show creator off the strength of her dads, who pitched it to Lena Dunham on her behalf. And then Lena Dunham, who also produced Industry on HBO, brought this girl, Zelda Barnz, on set of Industry so she could watch and shadow and see how to run a film set. So at 19 years old, she knows how to do it too. Huh? Like, wow. She's a showrunner at 19 years old. So these are like privileged white people, right? These are like privileged white people, unless like you're gay, like you get like 1 asterisk of oppression, like you're gay. These are like really privileged white people. And I think that's going to be very important when I look through what this show, the perspective of whom this show is coming from. But I must say as well, Daniel Barnz, the dad and the producer who set this all up, says that the writer's room ended up being majority queer, majority female, and majority people of color, because they still wanted to be as authentic to the story as possible. And I also must say, to be fair, Zelda is quoted in saying she absolutely does recognize her privilege in all of this, because no one else gets this, okay? No one else has opportunities like these except privileged white people who could just put their babies in high positions. And I think that's very important when digesting this story, to know how it even came about. I'm sorry, y'all. I really cannot fix this sun right now. I thought it would be cute. I thought it would be cute. I'm getting Batman. Like, I'm sorry. But let's dive into what's going on here today. Just Nicole says, I don't know how to feel about giving anything that's attached to Lena Dunham my support and or viewership. And I feel you. That's valid and fair. That's valid and fair. Let's start with some opening shots here. We start with this really intense teaser. But the first shot is a girl fixing her face through a cell phone. So we see a teen who is perfecting this imposed image. And something behind her, something drastic is happening right behind her, right behind this door. Her friend is screaming and crying in fear and agony. And after so long of this, between her friend checking herself in her phone, making sure she's cute, and her friend screaming in agony, her friend discovers that she's actually delivering a baby in this toilet right here, right now. And so with these two visuals, I think it perfectly summarizes the extremities of the teen experience, because it's the pressure to fit in and perform and present yourself a certain way and fall in sync with your peers. And it's also dealing with these heavy, traumatic, deeply scarring, emotional burdens that you may or may not know about. A lot of teens are carrying some heavy shit that you would never know about. And being a teen is so integral to your development, because it's the crux right between your childhood, adolescence, bridging into adulthood, where you have to take on heavier problems in life. So that's exactly what's happening here. Do we worry about the cell phone and how I look cute and what's up and what's going on? And my friend is giving the baby behind closed doors, keeping her secret. So in this show, they play with a major theme of reflections here. We're going to be seeing a lot of reflections moving forward. And what we can visibly see, take a look at this bathroom shot, this frame, what we can visibly see stands directly in front of an extreme and unknown pain. And that will happen to either the character themselves or the people surrounding them. So right here, right now, in this frame, the friend we can see is severely emotionally detached from her friend's pain. Khaled, I'm gonna get to it. Hold on, baby. Hold on. I'm gonna say it, because we're definitely going to talk about that. Okay, but that's pretty much the theme of what we're going to be seeing here in Generation. These hidden pains and these hidden identities, this disconnection from the people right next to you, and the heavy disconnection from self. What I do want to say, as an up-and-coming TV writer, sometimes the language written for these characters is not good, okay? Which I fear saying that, because I know that this writer's room was intentionally filled with Black and brown queer young writers to make it real. So sometimes when they're speaking and the way they deliver their dialogue and what they're actually saying, it seems so on the nose and heavy-handed and vapid, which many times in my experience as someone who's not of this generation or audience, I experience queer Black and brown teens in a very different way. Like, they actually know a fuck ton about a fuck lot. They know so much. This young generation has access to so much information. And actually, to a lot of them, it's really cool to be armed with that information so they can debate you and humiliate you. Yeah, you're not smart enough. Remember when you were bullied because you were smart? The kids today are all right. They're like, actually, when the cis hets begin speaking and you're overstepping your boundaries, and And they will drag and read you because the information is in the palm of their hand and they sop it up like a biscuit. They know a lot. So, and I get it. All teens are not the same. Some actually will be empty and vapid and worried about their cell phone, like that's it. But when this is coming from like, I don't know where in the story the Black and brown POC writers, queer writers are arriving, and two rich white dudes are entering the space. That was sort of like how Netflix redid Nola Darling, and you can tell the writers weren't of that experience. It gets a little disconnected from authenticity. We were like, this girl would not exist. This is not what a 20-something pansexual Black girl would say. Like, it goes in and out for me, the writing and the dialogue. Just Nicole says, yeah, they're in there, but who gets the final say on what makes it to the scripts? And that's my thing. I feel like they back and forth with it. Like whose pen is on the paper? It goes in and out for me there. Sammy says, I couldn't tell if the dialogue was meant to be a parody or if I was supposed to take it seriously. That's not okay. That's not okay. All right. And that's my only thing about, it's not my only thing, but that's one of the things that gets me about nepotism, that it erases skill set. Zelda, God bless you, but you're there because you were put there. Were you writing? Did you study? Who sculpted the story? Like that's what gets me a little bit. Like you just put anything on TV. And so when it doesn't make sense, we as an audience feel that. And when it doesn't feel real, when the story is not told well, we feel that. It's sacred to just the craft of it. It's cool that you're there, but then what happens to the craft? That's where I start asking questions. But God bless you, girl. You got it. So we began with a birth until we discover a death. We're beginning 3 months prior to the girls crying in the bathroom that we saw in the teaser. Chester discovers that his original guidance counselor dies, leading him to meet the replacement, Sam. Now the lines here are blurred between Chester's free spirit and the heaviness of the circumstance at hand. Now, he doesn't have to grovel and be down and out and be super depressed. I mean, it was a guidance counselor. Sometimes you see him, sometimes you don't. But there was a death that just happened and he's just so fluttery and free and cool. And he's just like, oh, cool, okay. Like, and I think that lends to the theme of this emotional disconnection, right? We're also here blurring the lines of the boundaries. Chester, a minor, flirts with the adult guidance counselor, Sam. And Sam, who's doing right by the job, upholds stern boundaries. Absolutely not, child, not today. Okay? So looking at this office and where they're speaking, what a mess, huh? What a mess. All these boxes, all these things to unpack. The layers of unpacking that'll have to happen to the characters as the story progresses. And so not even just the office, but also in Chester's clothes, all these stripes, all this plaid, all this blockage. Who is emotionally imprisoned? Where are they trapped? Where will they not allow themselves to be free? What are the secrets? What are we hiding? We're hiding identities, right? Even when we first meet him, the first shot of Chester is us seeing him from behind first. We can't even see his face. This is a mask. This is a presentation. Even though it looks bold, it looks confident, it looks joyful, it looks carefree, it's alluding to the fact that this is not real. This presentation of self is not real. So here's my thing about Chester. This is what they say about like comedians and funny people. Like, to be that joyous and happy and free and funny, especially like the funny people, they usually have gone through something really, really, really dark because they need that joy. That joy has become a survival piece. It's become medicinal. In order to be that happy, you had to be somewhere real dark. I may or may not be speaking from experience. I don't know. Also, he really enjoys getting in trouble. Now, I done watched a few Jerry Springers back in the day, little Maury's, all right? When them babies start acting up, it's because the parents ain't doing what they supposed to do emotionally, fulfilling their child. So if you're not gonna love me when I'm being good, or you're not gonna talk to me and give me the attention that I need when I'm being good, guess what I'm about to be? Because my school gonna keep calling you, my guidance counselor gonna keep calling you, my teacher gonna keep calling you, you're gonna pay attention to me. He's constant troubles with these dress codes, and every day he assures to be dressed in a way that his school doesn't approve of. Now y'all gotta talk to me. Chester here learns that he has a secret admirer who he can't see but can see him, and he begins to perform, stripping in front of whoever may be watching him. Can anyone see him? He dresses bold. He makes bold choices. Can you see me? Crying out for me. Hello? I can hear your heart crying out for me. Like, wow. And the show is not saying any of this, but because I know my personal experiences and because I really love deep diving into film and character, we can start to pull stuff out, okay? Callis says, I think Chester was written well and very multidimensional, but some of the other characters are pretty one note and disjointed. Yeah. So let's see who else, let's see what else we got here. We do meet an emotional problem with Chester. We learn that he's lonely. And the person that he admits that to is Sam, his new guidance counselor that he's kind of trying to flirt with and tempt. And if you guys notice in the first beginning of this pilot, he never engages in anyone in particular. Everybody else is in groups. Everybody else got their friend. He's always alone, and he's swiftly maneuvering through all of these cliques and spaces. He's singular, okay? Now, here's a color theory hypothesis that I'm coming up with for this show. Please come up with your own. If you see something else, let me know in the chat. Here's my color theory hypothesis for this episode. Because the moments that Chester allowed himself to be as lonely as he feels and actually tell that to someone, these yellow and green lights came on. Boop. And he sits there and we have to be with him in that, right? So my guess is the pairing of the colors blue and white, like we saw in that teaser in that bathroom stall, is the presentation. It's what we show the world. I'm okay, don't worry about me. This is, look at my mask. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay? The blue and white is the presentation, it's the mask. But that green and yellow is where the truth arises. It's where the pain and the vulnerability are hiding. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. We'll talk about it, Nicole. Let's see. So, let's talk about the Black girl. Oh, God. Let's talk about the Black girl. I'm trying to find Khaled's comment. I'm very upset. Khaled Savage says, I'm very upset that the only Black girl is the bigoted, disrespectful one. Here in the scene, we arrive at a party. This party is being thrown by Riley. Riley is going to help Chester meet his secret admirer named Nathan. So we have this really bad dialogue, and I call it bad because it's expository. Dialogue is supposed to feel natural while subtly informing the audience of information and moving your plot points forward. It's really bad when it just exists to give us information. So the camera points to a Black girl here. As Riley says, That girl over there, she's got weed. She steals from her two dads and she's low-key homophobic. Can we get to know her? Like what? Can we get to know her? Can we discover that? Can we see her and be a person? And then we're like, dang, she kind of sucks. It gets real choppy sometimes, the way they speak, real choppy. Your audience likes to have information that so they can discover and say, so that literally what we're doing here today. Okay, we like to be a part of the story. Let us get to know that. Second, what the fuck? Like what the fuck with this Black girl? She steals from her dads, her gay paired dads, and she's homophobic. Like what? Now, there are some shitty Black teens, okay? We know that. Black people and Black kids are not a monolith. We're not all upright citizens. That's not the point. But I don't know if she would do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if a Black girl in a queer space, cool high school kid, conservative town, just be up and stealing from her dad. That's real white kid shit. This is where diversity goes wrong. It's giving colorblind casting. It's giving just stick a Black person in it. You can't do that because we got a way that we move that's very particular to our race and culture. Like we communicate. Yes, there are Black kids who steal from their parents and do real terrible things, for sure, yeah. But if you're making a TV show, why is she that? And here's the thing that really bothers me. It's not that she is a shitty character. It's that she's the only shitty character. Like she's an asshole, but the other kids are flawed. We're working through stuff. We're in pain and we're there for that journey. She just sucks. So why does she suck? And later in this show, we learn that she's some kind of like conspiracy theorist and she's very like not smart. She says something real dumb. She says a really terrible slur towards the gay community. Like what? Great question. Just Nicole says, is the Black girl being raised by white dads? We don't even know. Dad Cat says, sound like something Lena Dunham would be on. Ooh, yes, Young Keller, show, do not tell. They must show us and not tell us everything through dialogue. Absolutely. Sammy says it's giving Lena Dunham's writing style. Nacha finally putting a dark-skinned girl on screen, finally putting Forrest C up in some hair, finally getting some cute little Black girl on the show, and she's this, not today. What? The Black girl with the two gay dads, which we rarely see, that could have been so fire for a Black girl to have. And she refers to them as the F word. Nah. Nah. So Chester finally meets his secret admirer, Nathan, who's having the worst night of his life. And how do we know that? Because he says it. He says it. Are you crying? Now, this line of dialogue is very specific. Are you crying? We see Nathan with a sopping wet face. When you're presently experiencing that line, it makes us feel bored as an audience because the story is doing all of the work for us, right? We want to be involved in that. I'm having the worst night of my life. Are you crying? It's not letting us be a part of this world. But that line will come up later and we'll get to it. But Nathan, we're seeing these dynamics of the two extremities. Nathan is carefree, joyful, is being hooked up with someone who's in absolute despair on the first meeting. And I wondered, when they finally met each other and joined, are they really feeling the same thing? Is Nathan showing something outwardly that Chester is feeling inwardly? But again, bringing in the color hypothesis that I have with this show and episode, this may still work with the yellow and green. We see it towards Chester's side. He's kind of coming down to where Nathan is, and he's being vulnerable and transparent and soft and giving this uplifting advice and being present about those darker emotions. So we see that yellow-green happen. And Nathan is in that mask pairing, that white and that blue. He's not quite saying why this night is so terrible and what exactly happened. He's just upset, and that's what he gives us, okay? Side note, Justice Smith is carrying this story on his back. Baby, I know your back hurt, okay? But in all the promo, okay, let's meet another character. This is Greta. And we meet her in a reflection, a big structure sort of blocking her face, right? Alluding to a mask and alluding to a hidden identity. And we learned that she's kind of not quite out. She's kind of gay, but not, she don't really feel, I don't want to say it out loud yet. She's got an estranged mother, and she's currently living with her aunt, who's super accepting of her sexuality. She has a crush on Riley. It's a really cool girl, photographer, artist, or something, a little tough on the bones. Riley's getting cute right now, okay? Even though I'm paying her dust in this dissection, but Riley's really cute. Rebecca, ooh. Now, at my big old age, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I really be giving Greta when I'm trying to hook up with someone, show a little attention to somebody, let them know I'm interested, all right? At my big age, I'm just as nerdy as she is. I'm just as shy. I really just, this is how I flirt. I'm like this. Did you pick up the vibes or not? Like, see, now that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there, I sat next to you. Why don't you know that I'm in love with you? Like, that's how I flirt. You know, I'm giving very much that. And so is Greta. She's like, especially when it comes to the girls, I'll be like, did you get it? You didn't get it? See, I really don't understand why I'm single. It doesn't make any sense to me. I really be doing it just like that. But as we can see in this frame, that all of these beautiful, soft yellow hues drench her as she's examining her body in the mirror. This is a place of honesty and vulnerability with herself, right? But she doesn't let anyone else see that. Here's the thing, storytelling wise, we're at the midpoint of the episode, and what should happen is that there's a big shift, some big turn or twist to the original journey of our main character. But in this episode, instead of twisting a lead character's journey, we're just meeting a whole new character who in here has the biggest problem. Emotionally, it could work as a midpoint, but we're meeting someone, so we're not shifting any journey. We're just entering a new problem, period. So it doesn't quite work, but you know what? I think a lot of TV shows as well are distancing more away from structure and getting into these more like existing spaces, which is kind of new. Atlanta definitely does that. Atlanta still is very structured, but Atlanta just does does whatever it wants. And a lot of this style TV show like this just kind of existing is happening. So me realizing that, I don't want to judge it too harshly, like you're not on time, you didn't do your structure, because I see that this is like this new kind of style that's happening. with storytelling, but it just makes me emotionally confused. I'm just like, what are we doing? The first time I watched it, I turned this off early, but then I watched it again and I was like, it might be something here. I am going to try to watch the next episode. Rebecca Johnson says this show feels like a caricature of Euphoria. Sam, what's up, Kiara? How you doing? So we'll see. But Greta here meets that homophobic Black girl and she gets to drag her and call her a bigot. Here's what I will say is cool about this episode, because I don't know if they keep this up moving forward. What I do like is this kind of simultaneous timeline. I think that's really cool. Like you'll be following Chester. He almost hits a kid. And then we discover that kid was Nathan later. And everyone's always kind of been around and appearing slightly in scenes. But then when their storyline pops up, they meet that timeline that we saw earlier. I thought that was really cool. I liked it. That's one. Thank you. Yes, Stackheads. Greta called that Black girl a bigot, which she is, but we're not going to be dumping on one character. Like, it's like everyone agrees that all the characters here agree that Black girl sucks. And nah. So let's get into Nathan, which, what a trip, huh? What a trip. Okay. We meet him here in this highly symmetrical room, pleasuring himself and tasting himself. Now, look, I know it happens. I know teens are out there getting down, doing nasty, doing whatever they want. But me as a full-formed adult, this is awkward. This is so weird. And it was important to the producers of the show to use actual kids. They thought it was weird to have nearly 30-year-olds playing 16, 17-year-olds. So they hired actual children. So now I'm watching these sexual acts with actual children. And I didn't opt into this. I didn't choose this. Like, it wouldn't be okay if I went and sought that kind of content. Like, it wouldn't be okay. But now that I'm here to watch a show and y'all are doing that, in my experience, does it like become okay and cool because you're presenting it this way? Like, it feels strange. It feels strange. And a lot of people were saying that about Euphoria too, like watching high school kids just like, oh, all right. Okay. Very awkward. But again, that blue and white representing the mask. I just want to say this here as we meet Nathan, who obviously has a crush on Chester, who is pleasuring himself to straight porn. We hear the voices of both a man and a woman. We'll come back to that later because there's definitely a conversation here. His actions directly conflict the setting that he's in. This looks analytical, it looks clean, it looks anal retentive. It looks like these highly planned, structured living systems. But he himself ain't do his homework. He don't know what's coming up. He's like, when's the next party? Like, he is not focused or taking care of responsibilities at all. And it turns out he lives with his parents, who are the master organizers, right? And he is totally not aligned with them. He's wearing this solid color. His parents are in stripes and plaids. They're on two different wavelengths. We also here meet his sister, Naomi, and they have such a cool, dope, tight-knit relationship. They're down with each other, down. Naomi, his sister, is dating a nice, cute boy at school named Jack, who Nathan refuses to hang out with. Again, just some real bad dialogue here from mom, who turns to Nathan and Naomi and says, why are you seeing me like this? I am a fully formed person with interests and friends, and you just see me as a stick figure. We don't know you for this monologue to bang, bro. Like, this is what I'm saying. Let us see these kids ignore her so bad. And then by like episode whatever, she turns around and she's like, why are you looking at me like I'm a stick figure? I got this. And we'd be like, yes, mom, drag. Her doing this right now. What are you talking about? We don't know you. We don't know your relationship. And whose mom says it so compartmentalized like that to her kids? A frustrated mom usually says, y'all don't do nothing around here. I got to do everything myself. I feel unappreciated. Y'all don't care about nothing. What if I died tomorrow? Y'all be so sad. No mom says it this perfectly broken down like this, so self-aware. This is what feels unnatural. We don't be saying what we mean like that. She might if she's a Virgo, and honestly, she's giving Virgo. But I'm just saying, nobody really do it like that. Okay? Khaled says, to be honest, it shows dialogue in pretty much every episode so far is extremely sexually charged, even more than Euphoria. Nicole says, I'm 28, but look 15. They need to get some young looking adults or change the concept to some young college folk. No excuse. All right. Ill, cruel intentions vibe, guys, between Nathan and Naomi. I don't know why, but I like a white girl named Naomi because she has no right. You know what I'm saying? Like a white girl named Naomi, you better bring it. I go up for white girls named Naomi. I don't know why. It'd be a lot of them out there too. So let's go down to the church, y'all. We got to go down to church. We see the pews. We see the color of these pews that Nathan sits in watching this speech from a Bible passage, sitting in this wound, right? This red wound, listening to a Bible passage about love. This will be a troubling journey for him. Because we can tell or see he's interested in boys, and that's not always an easy journey for teen boys to acknowledge and step into. That can be very troubling for some people, especially, is his mom is some kind of wedding planner, but she's down to the church and doing all this. This is a very uncomfortable environment to live in his truth as a gay boy. So he begins to hide a Snapchat conversation with another boy who begins sending him sexually explicit photos, and he's caught by his sister, Naomi. So here's where I get confused between the two. Somebody explain this to me. When we met them, they were super down, super tight. I got you, you got me. We hate these parents, they stupid, X, Y, and Z. And in a split second, they're blackmailing each other with the sexuality that they carry in their personal lives. What happened? I thought we was cool. I thought we was cool. In a split second, y'all go from besties, that's my best friend, she a real bad bitch, to I'ma ruin your life with these photos if you don't, what? Is that my Bessie and a Tessie? What? I was like, Khaled said this scene had me rolling my eyes. Dad Cat says it's giving Gemini. What happened? And here's my thing too. Their conflict, I don't feel, is equally yoked. Naomi is getting a hickey from Jack. And that is not as bad as her brother being outed and looking at dick pics in church. Like, what? So they both holding the pistols at each other, but Naomi, you have a shotgun and he has a water gun. Like, what is going on? A hickey don't compare to a boy having to be gay out loud and looking at sexually explicit photos in church. Like his a little more, got a little more weight on it, got a little more butt on it. You know what I mean? So going back into these colors, both are presenting lies and masks and false identities to the world and each other. You can see here that they're both dressed in blue and white. Now, there's something to discover about Naomi, because we see here that she's also wearing those stripes. So she's guarded about something. Something's going on. I believe she's got a secret. Not that we know it here at all, but that shirt is giving me something. Just the way we saw Agatha, episode 1 of WandaVision, walked in with that plaid dress. I said, now what's up? Okay. I was wrong about everything else. Okay. But that's not the point. We see this yellow sign between them because when they escape the presence of the parents and have this argument in the back of the church, this yellow sign represents a place of attempted transparency. Naomi asked her brother Nathan to come out. I don't believe that you into girls. I don't believe that. I know you like boys. Just say it. Now, Nathan trusts his friend Riley with that information. He does not trust his sister with that information, which is valid. I mean, look at what the hell is going on. If you want to betray me that quick, I ain't telling you nothing. I ain't telling you Nathan. I tell you Nathan. Are you kidding me? I'm not telling you anything. It's valid. She also tries to position the fact that she's way more open with her love life with Nathan. I tell you everything, so you should tell me everything. It's just not the way. I don't care what you're doing now with Jack. I don't care. And he refuses to share his personal life with her, which eats her ass up. Rebecca agrees that the stakes are not high enough between this duel between them. That's unequal. That really is unequal. Yes, Nicole, he was in church looking at that mess. Okay, so well, let's get down to the secrets. Yeah. We've caught up with the timeline. Back at Riley's party, we see through a mirrored reflection, Nathan kissing Jack, his sister Naomi's boyfriend. Dun-dun-dun, the drama. The reason why Nathan don't want to hang out with his sister and her man is because he got your man. We are looking at them through a reflection because Nathan and Jack have been hiding an identity and their truth. And notice here with the colors, they separate themselves from the party, which is happening under a blue light, the false, the mask, the presentation, and enter into their truth under a yellow light. This is where they're going to be real bad, okay? There's a reveal here. Those was Jack's nasty pics down to the church. Ooh! Jack was the one sending those explicit photos while Nathan was in church, which is why he don't want to go on an outing with Naomi and Jack. What I got to hang out with you two for? I'm going to see your man later, okay? So here's just more questions I have, like storytelling wise, is just what I'm thinking about. What is making Jack and Naomi's relationship so strong? And how did it all fall apart so quickly? So fast. And what is so special about this nigga Jack? Excuse me. How many folks got outed by their sibling because the sibling was trying to deflect when they got in trouble? Little eye for an eye. Okay, Janet J said, who had Jack first? To be revealed. To be revealed. Maybe Naomi stole Jack first and now Nathan trying to get Jack back. I don't know. I get him not wanting to share his sexuality with his sister, but being with her man, he's a bad brother. And he's feeling the remorse of that. We see in several occasions that he feels really, really bad about what he's doing. He's still going to do it. but he feels bad about it, okay? He better hope and pray his sister doesn't recognize her boyfriend's thing on her brother's phone. Why do you have a dead girl's photo in your phone? Little how to get away with murder recreation there. So, with Jack's nut in his eye, I told myself I would deliver that line with a straight face, and I failed. With Jack's nut in his eye, Nathan finally meets his crush, Chester. So we have a reveal of that original dialogue, "Are you crying?" which was an intentional misdirect by the writers. See, dialogue could work really cool like that, but the first time you hear it, it sounds so on the nose that it doesn't hit, right? There's an intentional misdirect. "Are you crying?" He wasn't crying when we met him, which what it looked like. He was just washing Jack's nut out of his face. Huh? That could be kind of cool. Huh? It's kind of cool. And we discover towards the end of the show that Nathan is actually bi and not gay. So this is what I think is really important. This is really important. This challenges our usual notions and ideologies of gay, especially on men, right? We're watching Nathan chase two boys. We're like, gay. Which is why his colors were blue and white while watching straight porn, right? Because we think he's gay, and he's fronting being straight to his family. So in his home, it's white and blue. He's fronting being straight to his family, while in privacy, he is watching gay porn. But that porn represents two things: the lie that he's straight to his family, and the reveal that he's actually bisexual. He's attracted to both the man and the woman in what he's watching. Really important conversation. And I do have to say that because I have a male friend who is bi, but he mostly engages with men, romantically engages with men. And I'm bi, and I mostly romantically engage with men. In fact, there was some viewer who really loved my content because I was like, I'm bi and X, Y, and Z. And they're like, wow, she's great. Latasha's great. And then he wrote me a super long DM. It's like, I'm disappointed in you. You're not the queer woman I thought you were. You are heteronormative and X, Y, Z. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. My bisexuality is my bisexuality. Even I tell people all the time, like my bi pie is 70-30. It'll be 70% men, 30% women. That's just how I'm built. I would love for it to change and be different, but it's how I'm hardwired, okay? So a queer person dragging me because I'm not gay enough in the way that they like, in a way that they accept. I thought it was so interesting. I thought it was so interesting. You're not gay enough. I was like, huh? I didn't promise to be that kind of gay for you. I don't know what you were expecting of me. So this kind of bisexuality really confuses people, me included. I be calling my friend gay because I only see him with men, but he's very much bisexual. And that is a point that we have to like adjust the bi erasure. Me, a bi person, bi erasing someone else. It's definitely bi erasure. So Nathan's character, with that point, I think that's really cool. That's really cool. Khaled says, Riley really posted this terrible photo online like it was nothing. She needs that camera confiscated. So let's look at this setting of the photo in question. Greta looking directly at Riley, who's taking the photo, wearing all black, hiding her identity, becoming a shadow of herself, but sort of sitting in that emotional transparency. I'm not quite saying that I'm attracted to you and that I even like girls and I'm exploring this or I am this, right? So she's paired with that black and that yellow. It's a secret, but that's where she is emotionally. Nathan, again, wearing this blue and white because he's not truthful about his current emotion or his sexuality. Some people know, some people don't. He be in, he be out, right? There's still a performance there. Now, Chester, okay, he's wearing everything. This top shirt that he got on is blue and white because I believe personally, you may find something else. I believe that his confidence is a facade. I'm not buying the I don't care about anything shtick. I believe his confidence is a facade. However, he is in a full suit of orange. And we could see the colors that we saw him in the beginning, right? With all that red, that bright, chaotic wall with that orange tiger. Now, orange is the marriage of red and yellow. So if yellow is his truth, his vulnerability, his pain, that negative emotion that he's hiding from the world, and there's red on top of that, I believe there's something that could be a deep hidden trauma which curates his vulnerability because he can tap into it when ready. We see that with him and Nathan. He can tap into it when ready. But I think something deep has happened to Chester in particular. Going back to all those stripes on his first outfit when we met him. He may just very well have like the biggest emotional turmoil of everyone. So out of the two Black kids we have, one may be the most hurt and damaged and already saving a white boy that he don't even know. Also might be self-harming, something to be discovered. We don't quite know that yet. They're kind of toying with the idea for this first episode. And one's just an asshole. So I really hope that the Black characters get a little more humanity as this series goes on. This got me tiptoeing on the marble floors just a little bit. I hope the Black characters expand and we get to have a bit of saving grace with them. We got trauma, we got bigot. I don't know. We do hope for the best. Thank you guys for joining me for another live dissection. I'm here live every Monday night, 6 p.m. EST, because I'm over here in New York City, baby. Also on Thursdays, I have the piece of script, little bite-sized dissection there. I did Inglourious Basterds last week. If you're not a Patreon, you're missing 2 exclusive live shows a month. Yesterday on Patreon, I interviewed Marvel comic writer and Black girl Stephanie Williams, who, under the Marvel universe, created a special comic story for Monica Rambeau, who we met in WandaVision. Super fire. Great interview, great woman, great creative. Really good things happening on Patreon. And also on social media, JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. Any last thoughts on the show before we sign out, y'all? Thank you so much for being here. Dak Head said, good old diversity. I don't know. Nicole, you're a Patreon member? Welcome, baby. I'm going to see you over there. Colonel says, this was wonderful. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. I don't know why I love movies this much, y'all, but I really do. I really just be chilling and like dragging and dissecting and diving into everything. Y'all just be sitting here just like, what else she goes? All right, y'all, hearts up in the chat before we get out of here. Put some hearts, put some hearts, put some hearts. I'll see you on Thursday. Love you. Bye.